Honorable Justice Martha Koome, the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Chairperson and members of EACC, the newly appointed CEO of the Commission, staff of the Commission, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I take this opportunity to welcome you all to the judiciary for the swearing-in ceremony of Mr. Abdi Mohamud, the newly appointed Secretary and CEO of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Honorable Chief Justice, through Gazette Notice number 16100, dated 5th December 2024 and published on 6th December 2024, the Chairperson, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Bishop Dr. David Oginde, appointed Mr. Abdi Mohamud to be the Secretary and CEO of the Commission for a period of 6 years. Honorable Chief Justice, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is a constitutional commission whose secretary is a state officer as defined in Section 16(3) of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act and is required to take an oath of office before assuming their position pursuant to Article 74 of the Constitution, which demands that before assuming a state office, acting in a state office, or performing any functions of a state office, a person shall take and subscribe the oath or affirmation of office in a manner and form prescribed by the third schedule or under an act of Parliament. The oath of office is further prescribed under Section 16 of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Act. This, Your Ladyship, ladies and gentlemen, is the purpose of this brief ceremony. Honorable Chief Justice, allow me now, therefore, to call upon Mr. Abdi Mohamud to take his oath of office. Mr. Abdi.
Oath of Office, Secretary, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. I, Abdi Mohamud, having been appointed Secretary to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, do swear that I will at all times obey, respect, and uphold the Constitution of Kenya and all other laws of the Republic, that I will faithfully and fully, impartially, and to the best of my knowledge and ability, discharge the trust, perform the functions, and exercise the powers devolving upon me by virtue of this appointment without fear, favor, bias, affection, or prejudice. So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Abdi, and I wish you the very best in your new role. Honorable Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the swearing-in ceremony, and with that, I would wish to call upon the chairperson of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to make his brief remarks. Bishop Oginde, Karim.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Honorable Chief Justice, and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, and thank you so much for leading us in this process, which now finalizes and completes a process that we have been undertaking for the last several months. We truly appreciate your coming to help us in this. I see my fellow commissioners are here. I also want to acknowledge you, our Vice Chair, and our fellow commissioners. I see Chair of JLAC, Panamurungaru. Thank you for coming to witness this occasion. And others, yes, I see our leaders in the law enforcement sector. Thank you, the IG, for coming, joining us in this occasion. We appreciate each and every one of you. For us, this is a very important occasion because on Friday, we said farewell to our former CEO, Mr. Twali Mubarak, having completed successfully 6 years of service in this office, which is historic. It is not an easy office to hold, and many people do not complete their terms for one reason or another. So it was a great thing for us to see him finish successfully and join the rest of Kenyans in now building the nation in other areas. And then we have gone through a process that has been very rigorous, looking for a person who could take over that position. And that process went through several weeks. And finally, we settled on our deputy CEO competitively, not because he was the deputy, but because he's the one who emerged successful in that process, to be the one to come in to take over this role as our new CEO. We are very hopeful because when transitions come, it is an opportunity to move the organization to the next level. And just being here with the judiciary as the final step in that process, it actually is also symbolic in the sense that the work that we do as EACC is a work that goes through several processes and several steps. And the judiciary is the final step in that process. Their success in fighting, making decisions on corruption cases is our success as EACC. So we need to work very collaboratively to ensure that judiciary is doing what they're supposed to do without any hiccups or hindrances, but also that we also do our part so that we make your work easier. When you make decisions, you have all that you need. And so we are looking forward to collaborating in that exercise. And our new CEO comes in with a lot of experience. He has been in the commission for quite a while, and I want to congratulate you in moving into this new position. I believe that you are going to take us into a new dispensation in the fight against corruption. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
The Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, the Chairperson of the EACC, and the newly appointed CEO, Mr. Abdi Mohamud. Ladies and gentlemen, mine is to say congratulations to Mr. Mohamud upon your assumption of the high office of calling of the CEO of the EACC. It has been a long journey for you, having served in that institution for the last almost 15 years. And it is confirmed that you emerged the winner when the interviews were conducted and when you came through the process of vetting by Parliament. You actually satisfied the members of the committee that you actually you are suitable to take up that position as the CEO of EACC. A lot is expected of you, and we as Parliament give you our commitment as an institution that we will actually continue to support EACC so that you are able to discharge your mandate in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. We know Kenyans out there are a little bit jittery on what EACC is doing, and especially as regards the delay in the cases, and also the fact that some of the cases that went to court do not see light of the day. But we know that with your vast experience and commitment, we are going to move to another level where EACC now performs even better than it did the last 6 years. So I have known you, sir, for quite a bit of time, and I know you, with the assistance of your commissioners, led by the able chairman, Bishop David Oginde, you will actually be able to discharge what is on the table for you. Thank you, Honorable Chief Justice, for presiding over this. We continue to commit ourselves to also supporting the judiciary so that it is able to also discharge its mandate in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. Principally, by virtue of the principle of separation of powers, we will do our best as one arm of the government, being Parliament, and we will now call upon you also to do your other bit as the judiciary. Those remarks, I congratulate you once again, and wish you the very best in that onerous task of that high office of calling. Thank you so much.
With your permission, Honorable Chief Justice, may I now call upon Mr. Abdi to make his remarks.
The Honorable Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Lady Justice Martha Koome, the Chair of Justice and Legal Affairs Committee of the National Assembly, the Chair of Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Dr. David Oginde, the Director of Criminal Investigations, Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim Amin, the Mr. Lagat, the Deputy DIG, the DIG, Deputy DIG of the Kenya Police, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commissioners present, the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, the EACC Directors present. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm grateful for this opportunity and honor to serve in the office of Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. I appreciate the EACC Commission, headed by the Chairperson, Dr. Oginde, the National Assembly, the Judiciary, and everyone who played a role in the recruitment and assumption to office. I humbly accept the appointment and thank you for entrusting me with this crucial responsibility of promoting integrity, combating corruption for the benefit of our dear nation. As I assume office today, I am acutely aware of the huge responsibilities and expectations Kenyans bestow upon the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Further, I'm cognizant of the adverse effects of corruption to the well-being of our nation. In fact, in many studies, corruption has been identified as one of the key challenges that our country faces. In that regard, I wish to offer my commitment and fidelity to the oath of office that I subscribed to in combating corruption, economic crimes, and unethical conduct in our country. As set out in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Strategic Plan 2023-28, the main strategies employed by the Commission in fighting corruption include law enforcement, prevention, public education, promotion of standards and practices of ethics, integrity, and anti-corruption. Moving forward, as a Commission, we have been able to achieve substantial successes in areas, while in other areas there is more to be done. And for us to utilize the resources that are at our disposal optimally for maximum benefit, we have identified 3 key strategies that we will use in future to prioritize the fight against corruption. The first strategy that we have identified is the tracing and recovery of corruptly acquired assets, especially the unexplained assets by public officials. The reason for prioritizing this strategy is on realization that people engage in corruption mainly for the gain that accrue from it. We therefore must deny these people from enjoying what they stole. If the public officers realize that they will not enjoy the proceeds of crime, that they will not enjoy the proceeds of corruption, they will be dissuaded from stealing in the first place. The law is also settled in this area, especially from the case of Stanley Amuti, where our courts have held that public officers must account for what they own. In fact, they must be able to explain how they acquired the assets that they own. What they cannot explain is forfeited to the state. Out of the efforts of the Commission in this particular direction or strategy, on 11 September 2024, the Commission handed over landed properties valued at 5 billion Kenya shillings and the cash assets worth 514 million shillings to His Excellency the President at State House, Nairobi. These assets were recovered from people who had acquired them corruptly. We therefore, as a Commission, have made a decision to enhance our activities in this particular area with a view to recovering more assets that have been corruptly acquired by public officials. So currently, we have about 215 civil suits worth about Kenya shillings 26 billion that are pending at various courts in our republic. We believe that once these cases are decided, we will recover all that money, if not all the money, at least some of those assets that were corruptly acquired. The second strategy that we want to prioritize as a Commission is corruption prevention. In the past, we have used two approaches in preventing corruption. One of them is the systems review in the public agencies, while the other one is the corruption risk assessments, mainly in the county governments. Going forward, we will include the disruption of corruption within the public sector as one of the key preventive strategies. And in the past 3 years, the Commission has been able to recover about 10.74 billion through these efforts of disrupting corruption before it actually happens. The other strategy that we want to prioritize is what other people would call low-level corruption, but it is known as bribery within the public sector. Many people assume that it is not worth going for for bribery cases within the public sector. From our investigations and previous interactions that we've had, we've realized that this is actually one of the key problems that is affecting our country at the moment. Well, one may say, why are you arresting, for example, a traffic police officer who may have collected 100 shillings on the road? What we are looking at is not actually the amount or the action done by the traffic police officer at that time. What we are looking at is the consequence that arises out of the action of the officer who may have received a bribe. If, for example, in the process, one public service vehicle gets involved in an accident and kills people, that is a huge loss. So the actions or the outcomes of the action is actually what is of more concern. Another example I may give is if, for example, an immigration officer at our points of entry receives a bribe and lets in someone who is a security threat to our country. He may have received 1,000 shillings or 2,000 shillings. But when you consider the consequences of his action, that is what we are looking at. Another example that I could easily give is a Kenya Revenue Authority officer receiving a bribe and allowing someone to go to get away with, tax evasion worth billions of shillings. This is an area that concerns the ordinary person. Another example that I could clearly give is, for example, what we call mama mboga. If, for example, a mama mboga whose stock is 10,000 Kenya shillings and a county askari extort her 200 shillings, that could be her profit for the whole day or even for the whole stock. So when we are dealing with this issue of bribery within the public sector, it's not actually the bribe received, but the consequences of the bribery itself. Finally, the strategy that we will also prioritize is partnerships in the fight against corruption. We realized that it's not possible for the EACC to deal with corruption on its own. And for that reason, we have to create partnerships with other Kenyans from all sectors. And for that reason, we will be relaunching the Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum, which we refer to as CLIF in short, which brings together all sectors, both state and non-state actors. But here, for our case, we want to concentrate on specific sectors. For example, the youth. The youth need to be part of the solution, not only a part of the problem, but they need to be part of the solution. The youth have more stake in this country than most of the people who are in leadership right now. And for that reason, it's good to involve the youth in the fight against corruption. The other key sector that we'll also be partnering with is the faith-based organizations. This is also a very critical group to us, because in most of the major religions that our faiths, corruption is basically, it is a sin, whether it is in Christianity, whether it is in Islam, whether it is in any religion. And for that reason, we have to involve the leaders of the faiths that we have in our country, so that they can talk to their people and show them, the ills of corruption, and the benefits of fighting corruption. So with those few remarks, I want to thank you again, Honorable CJ, for officiating this function, and wish all of you a pleasant day ahead. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdi, for the wonderful remarks, and congratulations once again. I now request the Honorable Chief Justice to make her remarks. Karibu sana, Chief Justice.
Thank you very much, our Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. A very good morning to you all. Let me begin also by recognizing the chairperson of the EACC, His Grace Bishop Dr. Oginde, the members of the commission who are here, Honorable Gitonga Murugara from Parliament representing JLAC, Mr. Abdi, our guest this morning, our colleagues from the National Police, Mr. Lagat and Mr. Amin, all of you distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the judiciary. I always apologize for our humble facility when we conduct a solemn occasion like this and our guests are standing. It is for this reason we asked for support to build a Supreme Court where we can have a hall that can accommodate our guests. It was not to build 7 toilets for the Supreme Court justices. It's because we need a facility to host our functions, important functions like this one. Allow me to begin by congratulating Mr. Abdi Mohamud on your appointment and swearing in as the Chief Executive Officer of Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Thank you also for your wonderful speech this morning. This underscores the fact that you actually deserved this appointment. You know your job. And for us, this is a significant milestone, especially in your distinguished career. And I have no doubt that you will serve with dedication, integrity, and commitment to uphold our Constitution and the rule of law in this country. Your appointment is the culmination of a rigorous, open, transparent, and competitive process which speaks to your competence, integrity, and commitment to serving our people. The position of EACC Chief Executive Officer is more than a job. For me, it is a calling. This position calls for leadership, resilience, and unwavering commitment to the principles of justice, the principles of good governance, and accountability. Therefore, as you assume this role of CEO, you are not taking it up. You are not just taking it up as a position of authority, but also you will be embracing the trust and the confidence of Kenyans who will be looking up to you with great hope and expectation. Your leadership will shape the fight against corruption and other economic crimes in Kenya. You have already alluded to it in your speech that corruption is indeed an existential threat to this nation. You will be called upon to make very difficult decisions, to stand firm in the face of great challenges, and to inspire your team to pursue the ideals of integrity, ethics, and fairness. And in line with the oath of office that you have taken, this will require you to discharge your duties faithfully and without fear or favor. In the discharge of this great responsibility, one of your greatest assets is the wealth of experience that you have gathered in the last 30 years of your long career in investigations of corruption and other kinds of economic crimes. Importantly, as you execute your responsibilities, let the Constitution be your guide. Let commitment to public service and the rule of law be your compass. In line with your oath, never depart from the law. When you face difficulties, let the hope and confidence that the people of Kenya have placed on you inspire you to pursue excellence and integrity in the delivery of your mandate. As you have said in your speech, we in the judiciary are ready to collaborate and to cooperate and to work with you, both as members of the National Council on the Administration of Justice and as people who have the duty of upholding the rule of law and building the hope of Kenyans that we can eradicate corruption within the judiciary. I like the way you have been able to identify the pain points for Kenyans, especially bribery. It is very, very painful for an ordinary Kenyan to pay, not even an ordinary, any Kenyan, to be asked to pay a bribe to receive a service by people who are employed by taxpayers. And you know how painful it is to pay those taxes. We pay those taxes to employ public servants, to employ people in the judiciary, to serve our people, and then they are asked to give a bribe for the very service that we are employed to discharge. So we will work together mainly to educate the public that in the judiciary, justice is not for sale. I understand there are many brokers out there who broker for magistrates and for judges. Even if they are not brokers and the judges and magistrates are brokering for themselves, we want to bring this to an end. And we will work with everybody, with the National Police, with the DCI, with the NAIs, with the EACC. We will work with the Kenyans. I like the way you identified the Gen Zs, because these are very innovative, courageous Kenyans that God gave us. They are an asset who can stand up and say also no to corruption, and they help us with educating the public against the fight on bribery and all facets of corruption. Lastly, I wish to affirm the judiciary's commitment to supporting the EACC, to recall our shared constitutional responsibility to advance justice, accountability, and the rule of law, which we have to do together, because it requires our close collaboration and cooperation. Together, we can eliminate corruption in our country and transform the lives of millions of Kenyans. Once again, congratulations on your appointment. I wish you all the best, and may your tenure be marked by great success and impactful change in the fight against corruption. May God bless you, may God shine His light upon you, and may He guide you in your daily endeavors. Asante sana.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Justice, for the remarks. I now invite us for a group photo at the foyer outside the CJ's office. Thank you very much.
Thank you.